Max Verstappen, a mad king, the boy who lives for racing, the boy who has destroyed big teams like Ferrari, McLaren, and especially Mercedes. He is a glitch in the system, a driver so different, so engineered for victory, that the sport itself had to change its rules just to ensure his path could never be followed again. He is not just an F1 champion, he is something that happens only once. Lightning in a bottle. The question is not if another Max will emerge. The question is, why will no one ever be the next Max Verstappen? Max Verstappen did not just walk into Formula One, he was made for it. Racing is not a hobby in his family, it is in his blood. His mother was a world-class kart racer. His father, Jos Verstappen, was a Formula One driver who was once Ayrton Senna's teammate. While other children were playing video games, Max was driving a quad bike at 4 years old, already hitting speeds of 40 miles per hour. When he crashed, he didn't cry. He got back on. This wasn't luck. This was motivation. Jos Verstappen, the father, became the single most important and strongest element in Max's life. His teacher, his mechanic, and his critic. Jos saw his own mistakes in F1 and promised to remove them from his son. The Verstappen family garage was not a home. It was a laboratory where a wind machine was being developed. The training methods made by his father were based on psychology, designed to remove any weakness and build a mind resistant to pressure. Picture an 8-year-old Max at a freezing Belgian track, complaining about cold fingers. Jos's response? I don't care. Drive. Rain pouring down, the track was slippery and dangerous. Jos would put on dry, slick tires, the most unforgiving rubber, and send Max out into the storm. Not to punish him, but to teach him how to feel the grip where none existed, to find the impossible line, to master chaos. But the most infamous lesson came after a bad kart race when Max was 9. Frustrated by his son's performance, Jos drove away from the track and pulled into a gas station. He told Max to get out of the car, and then, without a word, he simply left him there. For an hour, a 9-year-old boy stood alone, wondering if his father would ever return. The silence, Max later admitted, hurt more than any lecture. This brutal, uncompromising training fixed a core truth into Max's racing DNA. The only person you can rely on is yourself, and your performance must be perfect. Doesn't matter the circumstances. The results were immediate. By age 15, Max was the world and European karting champion, dominating fields that included future F1 rivals like Charles Leclerc. He pushed Max to jump the queue. In 2014, at just 16 years old, Max went straight from karting to European Formula 3. He won 6 races in a row. The racing world was shocked, but Red Bull had a bolder, more bold plan. In 2015, Max Verstappen stepped into a Toro Rosso F1 car at the Australian Grand Prix. He was 17 years and 166 days old. He became the youngest driver in Formula One history. The reaction was fast and furious. Critics called it unsafe. Veterans claimed he wasn't ready, but Max was impossible to ignore. The FIA, Formula One's governing body, was so disturbed by his shocking debut that they immediately changed the rules. They introduced a minimum age of 18 and strict super license points requirements. The Verstappen clause was born. The sport had literally rewritten its constitution to ensure no teenager could ever follow his path again. The door slammed shut right behind him. Just 4 races into the 2016 season, Red Bull made another shocking call, promoting Max to the senior team. His debut? The Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. Mid-race, the Mercedes leaders, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, collided and crashed out. Suddenly, the race was open. For 22 brutal, exciting laps, Max Verstappen, at just 18 years and 228 days old, held off the legendary Kimi Räikkönen in a faster Ferrari. When he crossed the finish line, he became the youngest race winner in F1 history. The world watched in awe as the Dutch TV commentator shouted on live television, "The Wonder Boy has arrived." The journey was not perfect. There were setbacks. In his early years, the raw speed was often affected badly by youthful mistakes. China 2018, where he locked up and crashed with Sebastian Vettel, earned him hate from the team and a cold, self-critical acknowledgement from Max himself. "I locked the rears. That was my fault. I messed up this race single-handedly." But even the failures became fuel. In 2020, during the freezing Eiffel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring, Max finished second. He was furious. He complained about the cold tires, the conditions, and the car. It was a race he felt he should have won. After that day, something changed. He remembered Joss's old lessons. He made a decision. Stop complaining about what you can't control. Start perfecting what you can. This mental shift, the transformation from a frustrated teenager to a cold-blooded king, would become the foundation for his championships. He had won the mental battle first. Then came the 2021 season. Perfection was needed because a war was coming. The 2021 season was not a championship. It was a 22-race war against Lewis Hamilton and the dominant Mercedes empire. They clashed at Silverstone, Max's car flipping violently into the barrier at 192 miles per hour. They collided again at Monza, the Red Bull landing directly on Hamilton's head, the halo device saving the 7-time champion's life. This was not a friendly rivalry. This was a brutal fight for dominance. It all came down to the final race, Abu Dhabi, December 12th, 2021. Both had the same points. The winner takes all. Hamilton looked untouchable for 57 laps. The title seemed sealed for Mercedes, but a late race safety car and a controversial decision to allow only certain lapped cars to unlap themselves suddenly put Max on fresh, soft tires directly behind Lewis for a final lap shootout. Max didn't hesitate. He drove into the inside of Turn 5, took the lead, and crossed the finish line to claim his first world championship in the most dramatic, contested, and spectacular fashion possible. The king had been crowned, and he had done it by tearing the crown from the head of the previous dominant emperor. The 2021 title fight freed Max. The pressure that had been building since childhood disappeared. What followed was not just dominance, it was systematic destruction. 2023 was the year Max Verstappen broke Formula One. He won 19 races out of 22, an 86% win rate. He shattered Sebastian Vettel's record with a 10-race winning streak. He gathered 575 points, a total score that destroyed every single season record in the sport's history. The gap between Max and his own teammate, Sergio Perez, was larger than most historical championship margins. This was the terrifying truth. Max was driving a different car than his teammate. The Red Bull machine, the RB19, was designed specifically around Max's unique, knife-edge driving style, a style that required precision and total throttle control. Other drivers, including the experienced Perez, struggled to perfect its rear-end stability. But Max, the boy who learned to drive on slicks in the rain, could exploit the car's sensitive balance to get the performance that defied physics. He and the car were a single thing. And then there was Brazil, 2024. The conditions were totally undrivable. The rain fell like a monsoon. Max was handed a grid penalty, dropping him to 17th place. In a normal race, starting 17th in a thunderstorm means damage control. You just get points. You do not win. But Max saw opportunities where others saw chaos. While championship rival Lando Norris and others hesitated, Max attacked. His throttle control was out of the world. His tire management perfect. He drove on the straights to maintain heat, braked later than everyone, and found grip that simply did not exist for his rivals. Lap after lap, he carved through the field. P12, P9, P6. On lap 69, he took the lead, from 17th to 1st in 69 laps of pure dominance. Not Ayrton Senna, not Lewis Hamilton, not Michael Schumacher. No one had ever won from 17th in the rain against this level of competition. This wasn't just a win, it was a performance so statistically impossible, so reliant on a perfect storm of circumstances that it can never be repeated. Even now, even as the 2025 season presents fresh challenges, with the McLarens closing the gap and a true fight back on the table, Max's mentality remains unchanged. He is in the fire again, but the fire is where he was forged. Currently, Max is at 341 points, 25 points behind Piastri on second position and 49 points behind the leader, Norris. Even though he had a very bad car, this man is performing so good. Take his recent Brazil race. He started from the pit lane, and by his driving skills, he finished P3, getting a podium. So why can no one else be the next Max Verstappen? The answer is a combination of three unrepeatable factors: the Verstappen clause. The rules have changed. No team can take a risk on a 17-year-old karting champion and push them onto the biggest stage. The path he took is legally sealed off: the Jos Verstappen method. The extreme, no-compromise, brutal mentorship that created Max's diamond-hard mind is simply not possible in modern sports. It produced a champion, but it was a unique, often controversial sacrifice. the unique driving style. Max's ability to handle an unstable, sharp car to find the limit where others spin out is the product of his specific childhood training. It is a fusion of man and machine that only Red Bull could exploit, and that no other driver currently has. Max Verstappen did not just win championships, he forced the sport to evolve to contain his power. He broke so many barriers, shattered so many records, and redefined so many possibilities that F1 had to change itself just to survive his presence. He is not trying to match the legends of the past. He is a legend built for the present, a masterpiece of talent, circumstance, and obsession. His greatness is not just that he wins. His greatness is that in breaking every rule to reach the top, he made sure that the path to his impossible throne disappeared forever. He is Max Verstappen, the impossible king, and his story is far from over.